Chapter 1. Prologue. Planet of Sintaz. Tushar heard a loud creak and looked up from where he prepared fur to sew a winter coat. No part of the hunt was wasted on the ice tundra planet, and he had several more hours' worth of work before he finished. Otherwise, he would have gone out to greet the landing spaceship with his brother Adur. Even if it were a traveling sales craft, a conversation with someone who wasn't related to him would be most welcome. Life on Sintaz was hard and lonely. Not many people could survive the harsh weather. Tushar lived with his two brothers in a modest ice hut. Their home was furnished with 3 stools, 3 beds, 3 chairs, 3 bowls. They never had visitors, and anything that was not needed or used would be considered wasteful. After their parents had died in an ice storm while hunting, it was just the 3 of them, Itzatz, Adur, and Tushar. When they were younger, there had been a village, but his neighbors had begun migrating off-world. Some went to find easier work in cold storage ships. Being Sintazian made them particularly adapted to working in freezing temperatures. Others had joined up with the Exploratory Science Commission. The ESC scientists drilled core samples out of the tundra in what was estimated to be the beginning of a 100-year-long mining endeavor to penetrate 15,000 feet below the planet's surface to test mineral compounds. He wasn't sure what they thought to find by going through thousands of years' worth of compressed snow, ice, and ships that had crashed on the planet. His people told stories of the alien spacecrafts beneath the ice. If the myths were true, perhaps it would be worth digging. Tushar heard another loud creak and dropped his tools. It sounded like the metal of a ship. He stretched his arms, walking across the ice hut to watch the ship leave. The day was warm, so he didn't wear a shirt. Aliens who visited the planet bundled themselves head to toe. He'd laugh at them, but knew his own body was not suited for hot climates. He was biologically adapted to the environment. A loud crack preceded the unmistakable sound of an ice avalanche. His smile dropped and he rushed through the front door. Outside was a frozen stretch of terrain filled with snowdrifts and ice patches. Pieces of ice sprinkled from above, clinking on the ground around a rather large pile of broken ice that had not been there before. A ship disappeared into the sky. Instantly he realized what had happened. The idiots had landed in a snowdrift which had melted a little but then froze to the hull of the ship, and then broke off during takeoff. If not for the danger to those standing below, it would have been funny. By the size of the pile, the ship was lucky. There were places on the surface which could swallow a craft whole. Ships landing in them would be so buried in snow that they'd become one of the many legends beneath the ice. Tushar saw blue amongst the white. Adur was in the process of pushing up from the ground. Dark blue blood dotted his back, indicating he'd been hit by ice shrapnel. The minor wounds would heal quickly in the cold, and were not life-threatening. What did the alien ship want? Tushar asked as he walked down the path to where his brother stood. The aliens had not stayed long. He peered over the icy landscape to see if any visitors had stayed behind and determined they had not. His attention paused on the chunks of ice that had fallen from the sky. Either they left the new mound outside their door permanently, or he'd be hauling it off later. It was too much to hope that it would melt away on its own. More to himself than his brother, he muttered, "It's warm today. Itzatz will want to hunt for the winter's supply." Merchants. Adur held something in his hand. Tushar wondered at his brother's expression. Snowsuits or heat dispensers? Tushar laughed. Aliens were always trying to sell them things they didn't need. Women. Adur's lip twitched. They want to marry us off. Tushar threw back his head in laughter at the joke. Oh, how he wished it was a ship full of women looking to marry them. Wouldn't that be something? A bride procurement agency landing here for the 3 of us? They'd probably try to pair us with those hairy aliens we saw with the ESC. Who else could withstand our temperatures? Or Itzatz's cooking. Adur joked. The brothers laughed. Itzatz was not the best in the kitchen, which was amusing considering their local cuisine was limited to bergwar or belephant dishes. What were they selling? Tushar asked again, more out of bored curiosity than a need to know. Women. Adur repeated.